Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm your host, the Crypto Coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Hrish Lotlikar from SuperWorld. Hrish, man, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be on, Wayne. I always enjoy catching up with you, and it's a pleasure to be on your podcast. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I know for myself, it's been about 4 years now. I've been following along silently. We met at a couple of events and watching what's happening with SuperWorld. And I'd love to jump into that, and because it sounds like you guys have some exciting things coming up. But man, before we jump into Superworld, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what have you done maybe prior to getting into this industry or and since?
Yeah. First and foremost, I'm a global nomad, so live around the world. Every year, live in different cities around the world. So really love traveling and getting to know the world. It's a lot about what Superworld's about, which I'll go into. But my background is I grew up in the United States. Started working in management consulting. I worked on Wall Street in investment banking. I was at UBS Investment Bank and HSBC in New York. Started off in real estate investment banking in New York. I didn't know at that time I would get into, creating a category called virtual real estate, but we did that in Superworld, and I'll tell you more about that. But I got into venture capital after investment banking. I worked with a very well-known investor who you might know named Adam Stern in New York. Adam's one of our investors at Superworld, but I learned a lot about the venture capital business working with Adam. And then about 15 years ago, I had this crazy idea to go to Eastern Europe to start a venture capital fund. Went over to Ukraine, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Moldova in 2009. Ended up starting a venture capital fund in Ukraine, backed by a very well-known investor named Victor Pinchuk. Victor is a very influential investor in that part of the world. Victor backed me in starting a fund called East Labs. We invested in about 25 companies in the region. Preply is one of those companies. It's now the largest online tutoring marketplace in the world. You might have taken a class or something or studied Spanish or something on that platform. It's a great one if you haven't checked it out. And then did the same thing in Belarus. So I'm on the board of Tech Minsk, which was backed by the US State Department and Google. And there was a company that Facebook acquired that does all of the face filters for Instagram and Facebook. It's a company called MSQRD. MSQRD got acquired by Facebook. They do all the augmented reality face filters for Instagram and Facebook. So learned a lot about the AR space and got my first exposure to that technology through that company. And then after that, became an early employee at TopTal. TopTal is a talent marketplace backed by Andreessen Horowitz. Helped grow and scale TopTal. It's a unicorn company now. So I learned a lot about how to grow a scale, a marketplace, and a platform. And then previous to Superworld, I co-founded Rogue Initiative Studios, which is a film, television, gaming, and immersive studio in Los Angeles. My co-founder produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghost, the video game. And my partner there is Michael Bay, the action director, who's known for Transformers, The Island, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Bad Boys. And so at Rogue Initiative, what we do is we build new franchises across feature film, television, gaming, immersive tech, all the way to amusement park rides and toys. And what I learned from that is a Michael Bay movie like Transformers with the robots, right? And Call of Duty, the game that looks very realistic, the military game. They're really the same thing. They're built in an engine, Unreal Engine, Unity Engine. You can build anything you want in an engine. And what happened was about 9 years ago, there was a game called Pokemon Go that you have
Yeah,
heard about and most people encountered, I'm sure.
definitely.
We saw that game, and me and my co-founder, his name is Max Woon. Max and I know each other because we both work together on the YouTube platform. Again, have a very close knowledge of how YouTube works in and out. Max co-founded Xfire and sold it to Viacom, and he's done Fizzle, Sliver, Skit, and Toonstar, all venture-backed companies in the immersive space as well. So he comes from immersive and gaming background. And previous to that, he worked with Stephen Hawking at Cambridge. So super smart guy. We worked together. We saw what Pokemon Go was doing, and we thought, you know what? Why does it have to be about Pokemon? Why can't it be about your business? Why can't it be about real world assets? Why can't it be about, your favorite sports team or your travel or, the not for profit you support? And that was where the vision for creating SuperWorld came from.
Nice. Great stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think everybody listening can at least say they've heard of Pokemon Go because that was definitely a viral sensation. But it makes sense. I mean, there's so much that can be done. So let's dive into all things Superworld, man. Tell us about. Um, I mean, you kind of touched on it already, but the vision and mission of what you guys are doing at Superworld, and really, I mean, you've been building this for quite a while now. So what's happened, and what have you learned over the years too?
Yeah, we have. We've been around since 2017. So, been around for about 8 years, which is a really long time in the crypto world, Web3. And we have learned a lot, and it's been an interesting journey because as every year goes by, more of the pieces of the vision that we've kind of, intertwined together really comes together. So, the vision of what we're building is Superworld's a virtual world mapped on top of the real world. A lot of people, when they hear that, think of the metaverse. All right, they
Right.
think of a virtual world with avatars, kind of like a game. But Superworld is not that. Right? It's
Yeah.
not that. That vision, what it is instead, it's about your real life. It's about the real world. It enables you to effectively create a map that's personalized onto the real world that I can interact with digitally or physically. So you have a world, I have a world, there's an unlimited number of filters on the world. Think of your world as a map. Okay, think of it like a
Yeah.
Google map. So you have a Google map, I have a Google map, anyone can create a Google map. And as I interact on your map, maybe I check things out, I digitally interact, I look at content, I go to a restaurant you recommend, I do things digitally on your map, you benefit from those interactions. Or I go to those real places and I physically check in. I go to a restaurant you recommend, I go to a hotel you recommend, and I physically check in. And as I interact digitally or physically, you benefit, you monetize from my interactions. And then what we've done is we've divided Earth into 64 billion blocks. Each block is a city block covering a real world location. Each
Okay.
block's about 100 polygons, so about $20 in today's prices to buy, so very accessible for anyone. And if you buy a location, any location on Earth, then you can earn from everyone's map at that location. So the idea is your map, you can do anything in the world, add any type of content, sell things, discover things, visualize things on your map anywhere. But if there's locations that you love and are especially interested in, and you buy those locations, well, you earn from everyone's map at that location. So that's the idea, is to build a virtual world
Yeah.
that enhances your real life. And then collectively, the vision is how can we all together build and own a decentralized virtual world that can positively impact Earth and humanity.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely interesting. So break this down for me. So if someone like
Yeah.
if I have recommendations on a map and someone goes to that
Yeah.
physical location, how does that monetization work in terms of like I recommend a place, right, and people go to it? Because this is one thing that definitely interests me. Maybe other people that are listening, because I'm very much a foodie,
Yeah.
and I can think of like, man, I
Yeah.
could tell you about the place I ate chili crab when I was in Singapore last week, and
Yeah.
and put those recommendations out. But I also, when I travel, I'm always searching for recommendations too. And most people go to right now is usually like TikTok or Instagram, but I'd rather be able to
Yeah.
see something on a map too.
Yeah, 100%. I can show you the application if you
Yeah,
like, and we could do a
yeah, let's
screen
do that.
share, and I can show you exactly how it works. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, so first and foremost, I'll just show you kind of the virtual real estate aspect of it, and then I'll show you the exact example that you brought up, right? So I've just zoomed out on the map. Do you see all those like little dots appearing all over the place? They're slowly kind
Yeah.
of populating the map.
Yes.
You
Yes,
see
I do.
those?
Yeah.
Those are places in the world where people have bought virtual real estate already. So
Okay.
it's just slowly populating on the map as I just refresh the screen. Okay. So what you can see is people buy everywhere. Okay. And, even in the middle of the ocean there, that's where the Titanic went down, if you see the middle of the Atlantic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. See
So
it.
literally, these locations aren't just about restaurants or hotels. It could be about history, it could be about music, could be about sports, literally people buy for all types of reasons, right? So I'm
Hmm.
just going to zoom in on New York City for a second,
Okay.
okay? So do you see these blocks that are blue?
Yeah.
Those are the blocks that are already purchased. So if I click on this blue block, this is a block that's already owned.
Hmm.
So if I want to buy that block, I have to make an offer here,
Okay.
okay? Because someone already owns it. Now, if I want to buy a block that's unpurchased, again, that's like the one here I just clicked on in
Yeah.
yellow. This is
See it.
available for 21 US dollars, right?
Right.
100
Yeah.
polygon.
Yeah.
And if I buy that block, I earn at that location across advertising, e-commerce, digital commerce, data, gaming, anything that real world assets, DeepIn, you name it, anything that's monetizing at that location. And then if you look
Okay.
at the ones here in orange, these are the ones that are owned, but they've been repriced. So if I click on one of these, this one's priced at $37,000.
Oh, wow.
This one's priced at $39,000. Only to show you that when you own a block, it's yours. You can
And you
reprice
could,
it to whatever you want. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, and you can list it for sale, basically.
You can list it for sale if you want. But if you look at user behavior, most of the blocks are blue. Most people have not even listed their property for sale. And this goes, really, it really conforms to our user behavior. When I talk to users, why did you buy these places? They tell me a story of their life. They tell
Right.
me about places where they grew up. They tell me where they have a business. They tell me places where, maybe something special happened. Maybe they got married there. Maybe their family's from there. Maybe they go on vacation there, right? So all these places are important to them. And then when I ask them, what do they want to do at these locations? They give me use cases. They're like,
Yeah.
I want to add my business to this location. I want to upload content to this location. So you can upload
This.
any type of content.
See, so now.
So if you go to the side, it's gonna look like a big sparkle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, see?
Oh.
So 3D content, 2D
Right.
content, you can post links. You could build a 3D digital twin. So if you have some kind of physical location that you want to show off, right? I can walk in, look around at that location. If you have a retail store that you want someone to walk through, they can walk into that store and buy products right off the shelf, right? So we've integrated with Matterport there to do that. You can create digital assets. You can find friends nearby on the map, or you can also create group chats. So if you're going to a conference like Token 2049, or if you're not able to make it, you can add a chat to the map and tell your friends, hey, let's connect here and let's follow up. So you can be anywhere in the world virtually. So again, the use cases here are pretty vast, right? I gave you
Yeah.
the restaurant example, which is like you said you were a foodie. So I'll show you that one. So tell me your favorite restaurant that you went to last week in Singapore. Do you remember what it was
That's
called?
Yeah. I'd have to look it up. It is.
Or just one you love. Again,
Jumbo. I think it's
whatever
called
you.
Jumbo.
Oh, I think I've been there. Yeah, I know
Correct.
Jumbo.
Yeah. Seafood
Okay, that's on
place.
the water,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you got to give me the exact name here, but let me see if I'll just search for it under Jumbo. This one, Jumbo Seafood. This has got to be the one.
Yeah,
Um,
the
but
Riverwalk
would
one.
you know which location? The
The
Riverwalk one?
Riverwalk.
The
Yeah,
third one?
yeah,
Okay. So there you go. So I just clicked on it. I added it. Now I'm gonna just star it. I'm sure you've done this on Google Maps, right?
yeah.
Star a location on your map. So I just starred this location on my map. On the bottom left there, do you see that? Saved successfully to your world.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, do you see on my profile here, it gets saved under a recommendation on the left?
yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. Now I'm going to just zoom in and I'm going to save that as dining because it's a restaurant. It adds it to my map as a dinner bell. You see?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm recommending Jumbo, or in this case, let's assume it's you. You're recommending Jumbo because you just told me about it, right? And if
Right.
I see this place on your map, I can digitally interact with it. I just digitally checked in. Okay. I'm here. I just
Okay.
got some points for doing that. And I can go in and I could check out their website. I could book a table. I can interact with this place digitally in a number of ways. Maybe get a coupon, right? So we're building
Yeah.
functionality for users to digitally interact. Or if I go to this location, I'm like, Wayne, thanks so much for recommending Jumbo. I click and I physically check in. You benefit from those interactions. You're able to monetize digitally or physically from my interactions.
Okay. Nice.
That's how it
Good
works.
stuff. So yeah, and this is great to find out. I mean, it's so much more because you're right. I think when you first start to explain this to people or talk about Superworld, they could get the misunderstanding that, oh, it's just another metaverse, and it's not, right? It's so much
Yeah.
more than that. And but so say I have an actual business on the map and somebody owns that
Yeah.
property before me, I'd have to
Yeah.
purchase it from them, or I can still put all my
No.
business info in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the other thing that a lot of people kind of confuse is,
Hmm.
first of all, your world is a map. Okay. So you can do anything in the world anywhere. So if you have a business, if you have businesses all around the world, if you're in multiple businesses, you have a map of the world. You are unrestricted from doing anything on your map. You can sell anything, you can add any type of content anywhere in the world. But if there's a place that you are especially into, maybe it's where you do have your business, you can buy that place. You don't have to buy that place. If you don't buy that place, you could still do anything on your map, right?
Right. Okay.
But if there are places that you like, maybe as an example, you're like, hey, that Jumbo seafood area is really hot. It's a hot spot. So you click buy here, and that's actually where it is right here. See on the map, this yellow spot?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. So you can buy that location for $21 right now. And as
Hmm.
an owner of that location, now you earn from everyone's map at this location.
Gotcha.
You
Gotcha. Makes
understand?
sense. So
So
yeah, definitely. So it's not
yeah,
just one map. It's everyone has a map.
yeah,
Right.
everyone has a map. Your map is your map. It's personalized. You can do anything. And if you have a business on the map and it's in a location that you especially love, you can buy that location. But to be clear, it doesn't restrict you if someone else owns the location where you have a business. You could still do anything on your map. That person just benefits from activity happening from everyone's map, right? And the really interesting thing is, remember, you might think of a location as a place you have a business. Someone else might actually love that area because historically it's a place where there was some important historical thing that happened there. And in their map, it's about history and it's about content, about education and things, right? So every filter of a map, every layer of a map could have content about different things at that location.
Makes sense. Yeah. Love it, man. So out of curiosity, while we're here and you're in
Yeah.
Singapore, man, let's look up Marina Bay Sands, the convention center, because that's where
Yeah.
Token 2049 is every year, and so you might
Yeah.
I might go buy that if someone hasn't already. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like I see any
So,
squares on that.
yeah, I think that location is probably right here where we were looking, right? Here it is, right here, Marina Bay Sands.
Yeah. Oh yeah, looks like
So
some people's already
yeah.
got in there, huh?
So yeah, this location, a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of properties around it, right? Here, the place where you just mentioned. So there are spots here that people own.
Oh, nice.
And what's really cool, Wayne, is we're launching our token on Base very soon. It's going to
Right.
be called SPWR. So when I interact on your map, you're going to earn SPWR, right? And in our white paper, which is at whitepaper.superworldapp.com, we now enable you to stake to your real estate, and you'll be able to benefit globally from real estate sales as well in terms of rewards. So
Okay.
your premium real estate can enable you to benefit from all real estate around the world, as well as you can also stake to businesses that you love. So just as you mentioned Jumbo Seafood, you could stake to that business and benefit as well when that business joins SuperWorld, and you'd also earn a yield by staking to that business. So there's some interesting decentralized ways that we have to bring on businesses, as well as make your real estate start monetizing immediately, regardless of where it is in the world.
Makes sense. Yeah. Definitely, yeah. And so I think it's important to mention that you just talked about the token that's going to be coming out. We'll get some more details on the TGE for those that are listening. May not know TGE is your token generation event. But I do have to, before we jump into those details, man, I have to applaud you on this because being someone that's been in the space a long time like yourself, you've probably seen it too. There's so many companies and projects that launch with a token from the start. Like it's like, all right, they use a token to fundraise, they use a token to, all right, we haven't built anything yet, so let's start with selling a token. But man, this is something that you've been building and perfecting and optimizing for quite a few years, right? What you said, 2017, I think you mentioned was when you
Yeah,
started.
8 years ago.
And right, and just now launching the token, which is it's a noble thing to do because I think too many people like use the token as a crutch just to raise money to build their initial product, and you haven't done that. So kudos on that. But yeah, give us some details. So you mentioned the token's going to be on base. Give us some more details. Like if someone wants to find out more, you told there's a utility to the token. How are there any other utilities that we haven't talked about? And then if there's anything you can mention now where they'll be able to find more details about the token to buy it.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned kind of the grand premise of what we're building is Superworld is a map, right? You have a map, I have a map, anyone can create a map. Now the token really brings all of that together. So when I interact on your map and I, let's say, book a table at a restaurant, or I make a hotel reservation, or I do some interaction that creates monetization at that location. Maybe it's I view some content that results in advertising revenue. There's a lot of different ways to monetize.
Nice.
Maybe I buy a creator service or an experience, right? If you think of Airbnb and what they're doing on a map with services and experiences, all of that is part of
Sure.
our roadmap here in terms of monetization. And as I interact, I'm going to earn SPWR. You're going to earn SPWR as a reward for using SuperWorld. You're going to be able to spend that SPWR to buy real estate in SuperWorld and become a stakeholder in different places in the world. You're going to be able to spend that SPWR using our SuperWorld wallet that we just launched. It's powered by Privy. And you can spend it on those services and experiences and real estate and other things that we have in Superworld. And so rewards payments is the second part of that. Staking is the third part, and I mentioned it. So you can
Mhm.
stake to real estate that you own and convert that into premium real estate. Premium real estate allows you to benefit from global real estate sales. So you're able to benefit from your actions in Superworld in terms of helping to bring on customers in terms of virtual real estate anywhere in the world, even outside of the geographic locale that you purchased it in.
Mhm.
As well as you're also in a decentralized way able to bring in businesses that you love. So, we talked about starring a location on your map like Jumbo Seafood. But what if you can take that one step further and you can stake to that business because you love it and you believe in it? And when they come on board because they've earned yield from your staking and they want to come on board to activate more customers like yourself, who've also staked to their business. It's similar to if you think of early days of PayPal when you got an email that said you had $20 on PayPal to spend. We're going to be able to send all of these businesses credits from the work that you're doing, that staking them and bringing them to the forefront in SuperWorld, where they can now join SuperWorld, connect their credit card, and start adding marketing services from SuperWorld, similar to what they would do on Google Maps or on Instagram. They're able to start marketing themselves using our services in SuperWorld, using those tokens and staking to it. So, so staking's the other part of it, and then the last part of it is governance. So token holders earn governance and the ability to have governance in the platform by owning tokens.
Gotcha. A lot of good stuff, man. Yeah, it's definitely something that glad we're doing this podcast. For myself alone, it's giving a deeper dive into what you're doing because it's so much more than what you think of. And I keep thinking as you're talking, I'm having these ideas and all these different verticals and things that could be on there. But I'm sure it's because you're building a whole digital world or individual worlds, right? It's a place where anybody can go, and that's interesting, and it's definitely a lot better than the fragmented system like you talk about, like certain Airbnb experiences that are out there, right? Or we go to Google to leave a review, and then we go I'll go to Instagram to leave a video. I can have one spot where I could just upload anything, right? Content. I can upload reviews. I can share different things. So it's definitely something that I think would be great to see as more people learn about it. And what are you
Yeah.
seeing today in terms of users?
Yeah. So one thing I would explain to you, and this is I think very interesting and illustrative of what we're building, is the vision is massive, right? So I just gave you the travel example,
Right. Yeah.
but this could be about real world assets, right? This could be about me discovering, real estate investment opportunities on a fractionalized basis on the map that I could put in $1,000 into and get a stake in, like the co-working space that you mentioned, right? Where I can look at opportunities around the world to get into RWA. It could be a DPIN. It could be I'm looking at buying some physical nodes, right, on the map in different projects, right?
Yeah.
And so the type of content, and we just talked about travel as an example,
Right.
but every map, every world could be about totally different things. Like I mentioned, education or music or a not-for-profit. And so the one common denominator here for the type of content that can be added is what I call phygital content. And phygital content is content that can have a digital or a physical interaction, right? And so if you think of every piece of content I've talked about, it's content that I could digitally interact with on the map. It could be a recommendation to a hotel, or it could be an RWA where I'm looking at it, learning about it. And then I have a physical interaction. It's a physical place, or it's a physical building that I'm now able to own or work from, or whatever it happens to be. So there's digital and physical. And so we're creating a new category, and we call it RWL, real world locations. And it brings together immersive tech, Web3, AI, DPIN, and RWA. And we're the kind of the at the forefront. We're the biggest RWL platform, the biggest digital content platform in the world. And so in terms of our traction, we've seen a lot of very interesting traction over the years. First and foremost, When we started the real estate part of what we're doing, what we notice is our average paying user spends around $1,500 on SuperWorld buying real estate. And the way that works, Wayne, is if you understand what we're doing, and you just said it yourself, you're like, maybe I'd buy something around Singapore, the
Right.
Marina Bay Sands, right? And for everyone who has that idea about Singapore, what's really beautiful is that regardless of where you are in the world, there is that place, right?
Yeah.
Wherever that is, the downtown, maybe the university, maybe it's like, the
Sports stadium.
resort, maybe it's the beach, maybe it's
Yeah.
the sports stadium, right? Everyone's got some spots, okay? And if you talk to two different people, they have different spots. Maybe they share 3 or 4 in the world that are common, right? But if you really dig in, there's different places that they don't even know about. Like one person doesn't know about the other person's favorite spot. So there's a lot of places you can buy. And so we've seen that very interesting traction there. We're also seeing that users are creating worlds and maps. We have about 140,000 uploads already on the platforms of content,
Okay.
digital content in real world locations. We have about, I'd say, 500 maps that have already been created in the world. So we just launched Worlds, which is the maps feature. We have about 250,000 events that have been added to the map. We have a integration with Sports Illustrated ticketing, which is like Ticketmaster, but SI Tickets is what it's called. And they've added events, everything from F1 to the Super Bowl to Yankees games. So you can go onto the map and actually buy tickets to real world events.
Nice.
We have a partnership with TokenVest, which is a real world assets platform. And you can buy, the opportunity to invest in real world assets fractionally. But as I said, the idea is any one of these maps could really be about its own thing. So there's no, we're open to RWA as a category. We could have multiple RWA partners, multiple DPIN partners, and that's kind of where we see this going in terms of the trajectory.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I think that's going to grow. People can imagine a painting sits in a museum, but you can have a fractional ownership piece of it, which is basically partial ownership of the financial side of it. Or real
Yeah.
estate, think about real estate. When you fractionalize real estate, it takes an illiquid asset and makes it liquid. When I say illiquid, I mean if you invest right now in real estate with a group of investors, chances are you're not going to realize any profit until that whole property sells to someone else, right? Whereas when you tokenize it, you can enter and exit that position at any point, right? And sell it to somebody else without having to wait for the whole property itself to sell and change ownership. One last thing, man, before we go into, I definitely want you to tell everybody where they can find out more about SuperWorld. I know you mentioned the white paper earlier, but before we jump into that, I have a question. This is on the travel side, and it's something that I really enjoy that's going away. And you being a traveler like you are, how many countries do you go to now where your passport doesn't even get stamped, right? Singapore, right? Think about it. You just walk up, scan your passport, and you walk right in. Well,
Yeah.
people aren't getting that digital, I mean, that physical stamp on their passport anymore. So some kind of check-in aspect to where, like, when I travel and I land at a new airport, I can check in and
Yeah.
it'll give me some sort of digital stamp to say, hey, I was here, because they're not stamping my passport anymore. So it's not cool to be able to flip
Yeah.
through and show all the places you've been because there's no stamps. That's
Yes.
something that's possible in Superworld, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's a really cool use case. We have a way on our profile to show, places in the world, starred locations, favorite places. And so you made me think of a new, feature there
Yeah.
is, physical check-ins, but to be able to maybe even categorize those by country. So you can, every place you go, you can do a physical check-in and
Yeah.
be able to kind of have those on a like a passport book or something. But yeah,
Yeah, like a digital
similar to
digital
what like
stamp and a digital
OAP
book that it's
did.
in my profile. It shows all the
Yeah,
places I've physically checked in. Absolutely.
Exactly. So you go to a place and you physically check in there. The other cool thing is you could digitally check in, as I showed you. You could digitally
Yeah.
be in places. So if you can't make it on one of those trips and you want to tell the world, hey, I'm actually at Singapore Token 2049 digitally this week
Yeah. Yeah.
in SuperWorld, right? And you can share your link. People can connect to you, and so you could be sitting, in the United States or wherever in the world, and you can start networking with people who want to meet you at those conferences because they could click in, and now they're talking to you in
Yeah.
SuperWorld.
Nice. A lot of stuff there. I guess when you're building Superworld, the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Rish, as we start to wrap up, man, let's tell everybody where they can find out more. What's the best place to follow Superworld and keep up with what's going on?
Yeah, so first of all, we're launching our token. We're actually we have a pre-sale right now on Republic, which is republic.com/superworld. So if you want to get early access to SPWR for our community, go there and you can get early access to our token. We have our TGE coming soon. We're available anywhere on the web or mobile. So you can search superworldapp.com on the web. Look on any of your mobile platforms, iOS or Android. It's called SuperWorld Map. So you can find our map application there. And we're on all social media networks. We have a Discord and Telegram community that you'll find on our homepage that you can join and keep in touch with what we're doing. But I'd love for you to use the product. Use the product, create a world, start, recommending businesses, locations that you love. So if you're a traveler, this is like a perfect way for you to use the platform. And the cool thing, it's a world that we all build together. So, Wayne, the idea you just told me about adding the digital passport book, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're always looking for ways to keep improving the platform and build in use cases that people love.
Yeah. So you could do that. I mean, I could. I'm also a very passionate like coffee lover, like all different kinds of coffee. So I could build like this like almost like check-in places to where I can build like a tour of coffee, like a tour where people can go to all these different coffee shops in an area and check them out and learn more. And as they do that, I could earn from some of that monetization, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll further enable features where you can create, lists. We have that already, but as you said, coffee is like one of your things. So what if you could create a list in the world of your favorite coffee shops? So I just click in and now I
Absolutely.
see all your coffee shops. There's a
Definitely.
lot of personalization of the map is where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to it. I've got the app. I haven't really played around with it much. So I'm gonna jump in there. Challenge everybody listening.
Yeah.
Make sure to jump in, follow them. As Rich said, the social all the social media links that should all be on your website, right? So they can go to your website and link to all your
Yeah.
socials that you mentioned and jump in and learn more. And I mean, I think that's what people are looking for, more experiential stuff anyway. Instead of just, like, yeah, I can go on Amazon and I can shop something, or would I rather get into an interactive world where I can learn more about the places, learn more about what's around me, and word of mouth is very powerful, right? So you start making your own recommendations, and you can drive people to those places. So love what you guys are doing at Superworld. Any last words before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we've always been really focused on at Superworld is building a community that enhances your real life. So if you resonated with what I was talking about, I know you as a foodie said, "Oh yeah, I could use a
Yeah,
map for that," or maybe it's real world assets, or maybe it's sports, or maybe it's events, whatever it happens to be. I think our focus is to build stuff that people want to use every day. And if I asked you, "Hey, how often do you use Google Maps?" I think if I asked a room, everyone would say they use it at least once a week, if not once every
oh yeah,
day.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where we want to go with SuperWorld. Is we want to make it the place where you do put your content, your recommendations, your real estate recommendations, your travel, your sports, all the things that are important to you. And then I
Yep.
think the other part of it is collectively, the vision is, what if we could build a virtual world that could positively impact Earth and humanity? So I always say the world needs Superworld. It's like the world needs Superman or Superwoman. The world
Yeah.
needs Superworld. And so we have a number of maps that are meant to improve places. Like we've had tribes in the Amazon jungle create a map where they show
Really.
deforestation in the Amazon. We've
Wow.
partnered with the World Bank. They've raised money for hurricane disaster relief in the Caribbean. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways that you can use these maps to highlight parts of the world or issues that you care about too. And so again,
Definitely.
it's a massive vision, and if you love it, would love to have you, if you're listening, have you involved in SuperWorld, create a world, get involved in our token, and let us know what you want us to build, because we're all building it together.
Definitely. I love that, man. Yeah, there's so much potential, and yeah, you need a community to build this. Absolutely. So definitely make sure to check out Hrish and Superworld and what they're doing there. Hrish, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you on. I could probably talk for another 40 minutes about everything and ask questions, but I think it's a great point to stop and get people to go out. The best way to learn more about it is to do, right? Jump in there and experience it. So that's the challenge, everyone. So, Hrish, thanks again for joining us. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Wayne.